want to work on a self-care box. A part of that has to do with getting your self-care items together. What makes you feel good? What would be your go-to if you needed to relax yourself, calm yourself, remind yourself of who you are, really just feel grounded in who you are and what you're doing. A part of that is being able to recognize self-care versus coping skills. So this is something we've talked about on our podcast. A part of it is knowing that my coping skills are things that I need to do when I'm actually experiencing distress or when I'm feeling those negative feelings. Self-care is something you do that's ongoing so that you can prepare yourself and always be proactive in being in a good space. So if you do have something that's going on, you're able to access your coping skills without panicking or needing to seek like emergency assistance or something like that. An example of a self-care thing would be journaling. So what I have here, I have my self-love work journal. I have my positive steps heal and renew journal. That's something that I would use as a self-care because it's kind of like I'm taking time out to, let me get my thoughts and feelings out and let me prepare myself. It's asking me specific questions or kind of guiding me of what I need to be thinking of and doing and things like that. That's more of a self-care thing. For coping skills, I would use something like my journal, a blank journal that I can write in. I need to get this out. I need to start writing. Let me start. I got some thoughts, some feelings about that and whatever. And then I may rip out the page and throw it out, or something like that. So this is more of a coping skill that I would need to have. So if you decide, I want to make a self-care box or something like that. You may be making a self-care box, but it may be more something that may consist of your coping skills, like a journal to freehand write, things in, versus like a workbook or something for your self-care. Like I'm going to work on certain things in my life and do self-care. Also, I have items in here that I just think are, I have a fan. So what I like about the fan is I can pull it out to calm myself down, like, woo, child. Or, it can be something that I just like to visualize, just like to look at, or something I can do with my hands. So again, this would be more of a coping skill. So I put that over there. Another coping skill item that I have in here would be a coloring book. So this could be coping skill, or it could be a actual self-care item. So you could put this in either category. Another self-care item would be like a book. Kind of like I said, the proactiveness, just kind of thinking of what can I do when I'm not in distress, because it may be hard for you to really focus and get into a book if you are like, I need to cope with something. However, you may still feel like I do want to read. So you may find that it would be in either category. Another item that I might put in a coping skill box would be like a massager, because again, it's something I can do with my hands. It's soothing, as well as my essential oil. So this again would go in my coping skill pile, but it can also. So again, this is our self-care pile. This is our coping skills pile. And then also another self-care pile is I have like an idea book. So set goals, write them down. Setting goals to me is a self-care. Okay. I wouldn't be, if I was in distress, I wouldn't be like, let me set my goals. Let me start writing down what I need to do. And, no, because that's more of like a vent, a brain dump. But setting goals is more intentional, more like proactive. Let me do this. This is what I'm going to go to after I do my coping. What I might do, though, in my coping skills pile is there's a 1-minute gratitude journal that I actually have. I think I got this from, I think it was a gift. So, but I think it was from the dollar store, though, because I think I've seen it there before. But anyways, great for maybe like a quick disruption of thoughts to just, okay, let me take today what I'm grateful for. Let me write that down for today so you can get your kind of like regroup and get your mind back together that things aren't as bad as I thought they were. I feel like they are. So again, it can go in either or, but that would be a great thing to put in your coping skills pile. Another thing is I would put this into my self-care pile. So again, this is something you would use when you get ready like to meditate or do yoga or something like that. And again, this is just a tool. You don't have to use it for that. It don't have to be for that. But, or if you like that ambiance that it kind of encourages, or you like that mindset that it kind of puts you in, or it's just a symbolic way of saying, okay, this is the time I'm going to use to take care of myself. This is more of like a self-care tool for you. So it would go in the self-care box. Let me see what else I have here. Ooh, another self-care thing you can do. And this would be something that you can kind of be proactive at, whether it be to help you kind of do your own massage for yourself, or even like, that extension of yourself. And I'm going to take care of others by giving nice massages, something you can do. Again, there's just different things in here. Some of these things I think for me would probably go more into my self-care pile as a self-care box than it would a coping skills box. But this is something that I did for myself when I do need to do. I feel like it could go in either. It's kind of a brain dump, but it's also, I used it for like kind of drawing and just cutting stuff out and just having some ideas for things. Again, it really had more brain dumping in here than anything. So, yeah, I love this because this is where I kept a lot of my affirmations that I was writing down and everything like that. It's good reference. So again, this could be used in your self-care box, but also I love it for coping skills because it can be a good reference. I can look back at it and say, this is, like I said, I have affirmations in here. I have like good ideas in here. I have some drawing pages in here. So this would be a great opportunity for me to kind of look and thumb through when I'm just drained, when I'm just like, I'm out of it, like, man, I just don't know what I want to do, or just don't know how I feel. And I can look back on here and be like, okay, it can be inspiring. So be your own inspiration. So we have the self-care pile and we have the coping skills pile. So we hope this helps you to kind of understand the difference so that you know what kind of box that you want to make when we get together. The purpose of having a self-care box or a coping skills box is so that you can ground yourself in the present moment and also prepare yourself and be intentional about accepting where you are, who you are, and soothing yourself, being kind of like being your own best friend, showing showing that you can do it. You can get through hard times, being yourself. The purpose of having a coping skills box and or a self-care box is so that you can ground yourself. And you want to ground yourself in your 5 senses: your sight, your touch, your hearing, your feeling, your taste. So sometimes you might have some gum or something like that. Your sense of smell. So that's what the any kind of like uplifting things, like this is orange essential oil, and maybe you want to have lemon essential oil or something like that, or something that's just very, maybe a nice perfumey scent or a floral scent or a masculine like musk scent or sandalwood or something like that. Something to feel, we've got all these things, something you can actually do like journaling or identifying things like that. Maybe you want to have a playlist on deck. It could be your self-care playlist that goes along with your self-care box, or you want to have a coping skills playlist that goes along with your coping skills box, or it could be something as simple as forgot what's called the bowl, or it could be something so you can just play with your hands or visualize or look at, or even like the coloring. So you might want to have some markers, pens on deck, some paint brushes, the coloring book, things like that. So you just want to make sure you're being grounded, and it can disrupt your thoughts so that you can regain yourself and kind of put things into perspective and maybe have a different reaction to things, or look at things differently, or change how you feel about something, or validate how you feel about something. So this is another way of showing yourself self-love, but it's intentional with your thoughts because you're thinking about yourself ahead of time. So have it somewhere where someone else isn't going to be like, oh, cool stuff, let me look in it and take stuff out and do things with it. You can have a picture in there of your loved ones, a picture of there maybe of yourself when you were feeling your best. Again, something that can remind you of like all the inspirational things you've done before. You may have a postcard in there from a place that you visited or that you would like to visit. So it can kind of generate those thoughts and feelings for that time. And that's okay to do as long as you're not stuck, in something from the past or from in the future. But again, having a self-care box or a coping skill box can ground you, and it can really just help you to cultivate that self-care practice and routine that you need in order to feel your best and live your best life on a regular basis. So we just want to encourage you, live your best life, and do so by setting your goals, visualizing them, speaking them into existence, believing them, navigating, through your experiences by journaling, or even just identifying what gives you a sense of peace or soothing by making a self-care box or a coping skills box. And do so as part of your daily steps or your life steps, your positive steps, so that you can be the best you that you can be, one positive step at a time. Peace.